Disclaimer: the following video is a review of my opinion. My opinion only contains spoilers for the game story. I did not own any copyright materials, and all credit goes to the original creators and others who worked on the game. Please do not send hate, death threats, etc. Nothing should be taken seriously. Please enjoy, and thank you for watching. Fatal Bullet Year-Round Review by Wolfdog 107. Please enjoy. Hello everyone, this is Wolfdog 107 and this is my video review of Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. In this review, I will be going over everything that happened with the game from its release day to its 1-year anniversary. Basically from its release date to the next year of that same release date, basically. And this game is a third-person shooter mixed in with some RPG stuff, and it has a looter shooter system. So yeah, as you can see, we get the normal mode and the 3 DLCs: Ambush of the Imposters, Betrayal of Comrades, and Collapsed Balance. So, first, here's some of the character customization. It's alright. The detailed body shape actually has some slider options, as you'd expect with a character customization system. You get features in it such as the leg thickness, the neck, the shoulder width, arm length, hand size, torso, etc. For the face types, kind of boring because they're all presets. They're not actually slider options where you actually get to customize the face itself. You don't get to customize the jawline, the eyes, or like the pupils or anything. They're all different face types that developers made themselves, and they're all presets, so it's kind of bullshit. I wish I had the freedom to actually form the face, but I get why they have presets, because some people aren't really good at artwork or like designing faces and everything when it comes to video game character customization features. But at the same time, it's disappointing and wasted potential, to be honest. Here in the hairstyles, I have to say the same thing. You don't get to choose like how long the hair can be, or like how well done the sides are, or whatever. They're all presets as well, and it will make you look like characters that are already in the game, as well as the NPCs in the game. It's a very boring aspect of the character customization as well, because they're all presets, all of them. You don't get to choose like how long the hair could be or like what style it could be. All you get to choose is different hairstyle presets, and you get 50 of them if you count all of the ones that were added towards the lifespan of the game's 1 year. Here in this next section, you get to see the gallery, which is a small section where you can view cutscenes that you've already gone through, as well as some photos that you've gotten throughout the game doing various dialogue cutscenes, aka visual novel kinds of cutscenes. The cutscenes in the game, like that are in the form of like actual movies, they're pretty decent, but there's not a whole lot of them, which is disappointing. You also get some DLC ones, which I will show later on, and they're alright. I won't be playing the opening cinematic cutscene, because I will get copyright issues for that, I'm sure, no matter how many warnings I put or disclaimers. But yeah, as you can see here, we get the visuals in the gallery, which are the photos I just mentioned for the visual novel type cutscenes. And there's some pretty nice photos. You get like ones with Kuriha, Zeliska, Yuki, stuff like that. There's basic artwork pieces that are pretty nice. You get this one with Kuriha, for example, then which the clip will get to. You get some nice ones, such as this one with Kuriha in the sunset with her hair blowing in the wind. It's a nice picture. And yeah, I like this one a lot. It's one of my favorites. This one with Zeliska and her Arphasis, Daisy, is pretty decent. I like the effect that it has, like the circles and the background and everything. And the smile on her face. Plus Zeliska's my favorite character. This one right here, where you got like these different gladiator outfits for each of the characters in the artwork. You got Kirito and Klein not being too into it, while Egil here is all into it because he loves gladiators. And then we've got Yuki on a motorcycle, and her hair is blowing in the wind. It's a pretty cool artwork piece. I think you get some other ones here and there. I haven't unlocked all of them, obviously, but yeah, it's a pretty nice feature to have in case you want to look back on some cutscenes. And then you've got a small feature in the game for like changing the colors of all of your different weapons, accessories, and your outfit, which you're seeing here in this clip. You can choose from multiple different colors. There's a great selection of color variants and the base colors themselves, such as red, green, blue, and yellow. And then you get all the different color variants on top of that, as well as the 2 shades of white and black. And this is for all the character customization features in the game. It's not just this stuff. You can also change like the highlights of your character's hair in the customization feature, as well as the hair color and everything, which I didn't show in the character customization clip because I had to cut some of this clip short, or review short, so I'm limited in my options for this review on SHAREfactory. But here you got the music library in the game where you can listen to different soundtracks in the game, which is a thing that they added later on in DLC 2, the Betrayal of Combat's DLC. And here you also get a cutscene for one of the DLC boss fights, which is the Elemental Wizard. Pretty interesting boss fight. In fact, one of the only boss fights I like out of the game in general, not just including DLC, but just everything in general. But in this DLC, you fight the Elemental Wizard to progress further through the story. And it's a pretty interesting boss fight because he does some pretty interesting attacks. And he doesn't spam them like most of the enemies in the game, which I'll get onto later. But it's a pretty interesting boss fight. I liked it a lot. You get this stuff like all of the characters, well, for the boss fight you get the lightning attacks. He also does like a fireball attack. That attack right there that he just did, the lightning bolt. He also spawns some enemy drones at you, so that you have to take care of them. But they're pretty easy to take care of. But the actual boss himself, he can be pretty fun to fight. I'd say it's actually one of the boss fights I actually like in this game. If we're not talking about most of the game enemies that are reskinned bosses of natural enemies that you run into, just like Lost Song and Excel World versus SAO, and all of the other SAO games before this one, which they don't work on. They like to mess up variety and not choose to make actual enemies instead of reskins, but okay, maybe they might in the future with the next game, I don't know. I'm not a person that works with all of those people at Bandai Namco when they create these kinds of games, but yeah, work on your enemy variety, Bandai Namco. and Reiki Kawahara, and everyone that works on characters. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting boss fight. I don't really have anything else to say about it though. But there's also another boss fight which I'll touch later on in this video. But yeah, as you can see, we're about like almost 10 minutes and 30 seconds in. Here in this clip I go ahead and activate my my weapon arts for the assault rifle, which while we're watching this clip, the weapon arts is a pretty cool feature where it'll give your weapon a super ability where it can be anything random. For SMGs, it's where you get to like do like slash attacks with your SMG, and it's pretty cool. And I'll touch the weapon arts later. But here in this clip you'll see me going over like which hero quests you can do. Which hero quests are in offline mode, for just the offline mode in the story mode. And it's where you don't play as your avatar, but you play as characters already in the game, such as the SEO characters, the characters from the GGO world only, and the Fate of Bullet characters, as well as DLC characters like Alice, Yujiro, AG from the Ordinal Scale film, Sachi, 7 from La Somme, and Yuna, I think it was Yuna, yeah. But yeah, you can play as all these different characters, and yeah, they each have their own special kinds of attacks. And they're pretty cool attacks and skills that they have, but it's all basically just using different weapons to take out a set of enemies in different maps, in 4 different maps. But you get like some pretty cool features in this mode, such as like a timer, like to set your best time for defeating the amount of enemies, and a pretty good character roster that looks really cool. A great design for it, like with the triangle shapes and everything, where triangles are facing down and then upward or whatever. It's a pretty cool design for the character roster on this mode, which I really like a lot. It makes me think of fighting game rosters a lot, and how those could improve a lot. And yeah, now you're seeing some gameplay. As you can see, you got 3 lives in this mode when you're playing, and you get 10 minutes for a countdown. And then you have to defeat a specific amount of enemies. Here I have to defeat 15 enemies while using the various skills and the 2 weapons that the character that I chose has. Now here I'm playing as Dying, and I'm running through, and I'm using his skills such as the explosive shot 2, the shield matrix, all that, which you'll see in this clip, because I'm trying to do the review obviously and show off various different skills that he has, such as some of the other characters, which I don't think I have any clips on them besides Len, if I did record her clip. But yeah, this mode is quite fun actually. You get to run around the map, or like one part of the map that you're given, and try to defeat multiple different enemies, and it's actually really fun. And the characters already have the level set for them, so you don't have to grind them. No matter what level you are and what level they are in your actual story mode, their level in this mode will stay permanent, and it won't share the same level as your actual progress in the actual game. So that's a nice touch as well. And here you can see that I used his dash attack skill, and then I used the roll, the shield form, and then I kept shooting at him. I was also being careful of my health, because as you can see, it got the halfway point, it turned yellow, so I had to move over to the side and take cover. And it's these small elements that make the core gameplay itself really interesting, because you get to see how you can plan your different strategies to avoid enemies in the game. And you can also use different buffs and debuffs, which I really like. It just gives me that RPG aspect that I'm looking for in a game like this, which I get in many other games as well. But I don't know, it's just something about this game that I really like, especially the gameplay. But as you can see, I'm just rolling through it. I only got like 3 more enemies left. Taking out these 2 guys right here. Boom, 1 down, 2 down. There we go. And then you got 14 out of 15. Here I'm gonna get One-Eye Jack. And boom, I dash attacked his ass. And he dead. But yeah. Basically, it's a really fun mode where you get to play as any character in the series, not including your avatar at all. You play as a character already in game, one of the story characters or whatever, or a DLC character. And once you're finished with the hero quest, you're given a reward and a chance to either retry or just go back to the menus. Here in this clip, I will be going over the Bullet of Bullets simulation, which is a free-for-all mode, aka a battle royale mode. Not so much battle royale, but it's where you do have 1 life like in battle royale, but it's not where you have to drop into an area and find resources and materials and crafting materials to do different things with them. Instead, in this mode, you go through 4 rounds. The first 3 rounds are regular 1v1 matches where you get 1 life to kill an enemy in that round. And if you die, game over and you're not going to progress. That's basically what it is. In all 4 rounds, basically. But if you die in 1 round, you don't get to do any of the rest that you can do. But yeah. There's also a feature where once a specific amount of time goes by for like whatever difficulty you're doing the VOB on, you'll be given a chance to find the enemy by paying attention to the satellite scan. Which, the satellite scan is basically like a UAV in Call of Duty. It just finds and detects the enemy within a matter of seconds. But in this mode, it will take a certain amount of time before the satellite scan begins. And once it begins, it will reveal the location of wherever the enemies are. And it kind of defeats, one thing that kind of defeats its purpose is the Hawkeye skill in the game, which is a skill that you can equip on any weapon. It doesn't matter what weapon it is. The Hawkeye skill can detect any enemy out there, whether they're hidden or concealed enemies. They'll get detected, and it defeats the purpose of the satellite scan. So really, you can just win if you're careful enough and you have the right equipment, you have the right level, and you have the right skills, and if you have the Hawkeye skill. So the Hawkeye skill kind of defeats the purpose of the satellite scan. It's just that I'm not showing it in this clip because I want you to see some of the other stuff and not have to worry about the satellite scan. Or the Hawkeye skill, I mean. But it is one thing to take note of if you ever try to do this mode, because you can still use the Hawkeye skill in this mode, and it will defeat the purpose of the satellite scan. But obviously it does have a recharge limit or timer, so you will still have the use of the satellite scan if you forgot one guy's location. But here I'm on round 3. I already beat rounds 1 and 2, and I haven't died yet, and I'm just running through using my buffs and debuffs, waiting to see where the enemy is, and I'm running through trying to find them. Here I decided to go this way and see if they're anywhere on that side. And I don't really see them yet. I'm running around a bit to see if I hear or see anything that will give me a notice on where they are. Here I get nothing because I just go through here, but I don't see them. And it turns out they're just in a different spot. But yeah, it's a really cool mode. I like it a lot because, well, in the 4th round you'll see why. But yeah, as I was talking about before, the weapon arts. The weapon arts is like a a super weapon ability for all weapons. You get one for the pistols, RPGs, assault rifles, SMGs, all weapons in the game. Especially the weapon combo for the sword and pistol. But yeah, the weapon arts, basically, for the pistol, you get a super ability for it where when you activate it, your character will shoot the pistol into the ground, but it will activate a boost in the recharge timer for your character's gadgets. So where every time you use a gadget, it'll reset within just 1 second, and you don't even have to wait that long. It's just a second, and boom, you have your gadget again. And it lasts for a limited amount of time, so use it wisely. And then for the assault rifle, you get the weapon arts of dealing fire bullets to the enemies. And yeah, it's really cool. But that's one thing that you should note, is that make sure to use your weapon arts, because it activates when your weapon's gun portrait will be fully highlighted in that small square next to your bullet bar and your health bar. It'll be located right there in that portrait, and it'll have a blue highlight, a light blue whitish highlight that you'll see once it's full. It'll be like flashing a little bit. That way you'll know when it's active and that you can use it. And here, this is round 4 of the Bullet of Bullets, aka the BOB simulation, or should I say BOB simulation. And here you get a satellite scan and you can see where the enemies are. And right here I'm shooting at an enemy using the assist mode and the manual aim. It's pretty cool. This is why I like this mode, because on the last round it's a 7-player free-for-all battle royale mode where you only get 1 life, which is why I call it battle royale kind of, because you only get 1 life. And round 4 is supposed to be the last epic round where the music will really kick in and start jamming out, and then you can just deal tons of damage to the enemy. And when you're fighting the last character, the music will just go on and on, jamming the fuck out, and it's really fun. Like, I just love this mode. I love everything about it. Even though it's not online mode, it's still a really fun and interesting mode. And it was added later on in the game's life cycle, as well as the Hero Quest mode. Those 2 modes were added as like a mode in the game for one of the regular updates, while DLC modes came out, like the DLC packs the DLC packs like Ambush of the Imposters, Betrayal of Comrades, and Collapse of Balance. As those DLCs were releasing, there were also updates for the game that added some of the features like the hairstyles, some of the newer weapons, and the weapon rank upgrades, where it would add more weapon ranks to the weapons and stuff like that, as well as the Hero Quest mode and the Bullet of Bullets mode, which is my favorite mode. And here, I'm just gonna fight Kirito and kill him off, and then win this fight. And then I kind of lose a little bit there, but then I find him and then I shoot him. But yeah, it's a really fun mode, and I suggest that if you ever get this game, it's a really fun mode that you've got to try. Because once you get this game installed, you do have to go through like the whole introduction in the game of the story and creating your character, and then once you're actually able to do the rest of the game, then you can go into the online mode and the BOB. I'd suggest getting up to level 60 first and then higher if you want to do the BOB, because the bronze class, which is the first rank for the BOB, is at level 60 and up. Level 110 if you want to do or level 120 if you want to do that, if you want to do the second rank BOB, and etc. So yeah, I suggest getting through the game, grinding an online co-op or whatever, and doing those quests so that you can actually get a lot stronger enough to deal damage to those enemies in the BOB. That way you'll get some more credits, which is the currency in the game. Obviously in-game currency, not actual real-life money, just in-game points system and all that you can use to buy weapons, equipment, stuff like that. And here, in this clip, you can see that I'm just doing online co-op. The enemy is level 210. Now this is the quest that I did complete recently, just not in this clip. It was a different clip that I forgot if I put that clip in this one. No, I don't think I did, but yeah. In this clip, we're just doing this co-op boss fight, but it's too difficult for us to handle, because I thought that we dealt up enough damage, but we didn't, because we still lost towards the end, because we had to forfeit. Well, the host, had to set up a forfeit, because at the time, we got knocked down to 3 lives. I was like, we're not gonna do this, and plus the clip was a little long, so I had to cut it short for this review. Here you see the hardcore co-op quest, or at least one of them. Now, there's 2 kinds of co-op quests, the normal and the hardcore. The normal was already, in the game, the normal quests for co-op. The online hardcore co-op quests were added later on as one of the update features in the game's life cycle for 1 year during one of the DLC pack releases. And it added where you can do the hardcore quests, but it's like gonna be like a little difficult, and it will start for players at level 75 or above. Well, you don't have to be like I'm level 75 to unlock it. It's just that you have to be level 75 and higher in order to deal some good damage and not get killed so easily in order to do it good enough. And it's also where you don't get to have your Arphasis AI teammate with you, which is your AI teammate in the game. You don't get to have your Arphasis with you, and well, basically you have to go into the quest with the actual players that join the lobby, and it's gonna be you and them only, no Arphasis whatsoever. And here, as you can see in that clip, we completed one part of the quest, and we move on to the next area. But here we're going to talk about the story now. So, in the world of Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, you, the player, is the protagonist, taken control of, insert name here, and always called the protagonist Major Wolf. Now, Major Wolf is a guy that likes first-person shooters, which is set in the game, and he's good at them. And you can obviously be a boy or girl in the game, it doesn't really matter. But Major Wolf here is logging in for the first time into the world of Fatal Bullet, or Gun-Gale Online, I mean. And in this cutscene, he meets up with his childhood friend, Kureha. And the two of them join up in this tournament after leveling up for a little bit. And once they're leveling up, and once they join the tournament, I mean, they go through some enemies and they have to find this item. This very rare item. And so, after going through some specific rooms, they end up here in this warp gate room, where they find a warp gate and Korea activates it, but Major Wolf is standing right in the center of it, and he gets teleported to another room. And you'll see which room he ends up going to. But we'll get to some of the more interesting stuff in the story. But here in the same cutscene, Wolf is teleported into the next room. And he's looking around and checking the environment. And here you can see it's like this facility kind of map where you got those two balconies on the sides, And at the center, you see this capsule pod. And this capsule pod is where Wolf meets his orifices. And when it chooses him as its master, which Wolf will then become the owner of the orifices once it calls him its master. And the orifices can be a boy or girl, it doesn't really matter. And the two of them then, well, you'll see in the cutscene, but you'll see Wolf going up to it right here, and he'll activate activate the capsule pod. And as he's about to touch it, it says player authentication, starting master authorization, username Wolf, registration complete, and then the pod rises up, rising, Rocky. But then the orifice awakes as the pod opens and is lifted. The orifice wakes up. Wolf is just gawking at it. And then here you get a first-person shooter scene, and then the screen goes black, and then the screen unfades or whatever, back to Asuna and Kirito, as they have a tiny little conversation about what just happened, and then Kirito decides to move in and attack Major Wolf. At this moment, it's when the orifice says master, causing Kirito to fail in his attack and stumble a little bit. And then Kuriha is on her way to find out what happened. And then Kirito is ready to attack Wolf, but then Kuriha says hold it right there, but that's Asuna's like, put your gun down. And that Kuriha's like, Nani? but Kirito says that they don't feel like fighting, and unfortunately Wolf is the one that got the orifices first. And he makes note that the orifices chose Wolf as its master. And then Orifices and Major Wolf just look at each other, and Major Wolf is just a little confused about what just happened. Later on, as Wolf is grinding through the game, he's in at the hub, or safe zone, aka the SBC Glocken, the safe zone in the entire game. Then he sees his orifices coming up to him, saying that she was lost and that she was looking for him, but in reality it was just the orifices that got lost and lost track of him. Hold on 1 second. So sorry about that, I had to take a phone call real quick. But yeah, back to the review. So, here in this cutscene, you get to meet Zeliska. And she's coming by, and she meets you, and the two of you have a small little talk about, basically, you get introduced to her. And basically, she's one of the infamous GGO players, and she's really popular, and she's been given the nickname the Uncrowned Queen. Personally, she's my most favorite character in the game. In fact, the only character I give a shit about, because goddamn, this game is shit. Such a bad fucking story. But yeah. Yeah. As the story goes on, it gets to where basically you and all the other characters in the story grind together in different quests and everything during this one update. And then during the update, you guys get a map or whatever, a new level in the game. And it turns out to be the SPC Flugel, a ship where all the Orifices units are born. And here in these clips you're just seeing some of the endings and all that. But it basically builds up to the story where in the SPC Flugel, after going through some of the stuff, you have to repair the Orifices ship AI, which is the mother of all the Orifices units. And once you do that, everything's okay, but then suddenly something happens, and then it turns out Death Gun is roaming around killing players of GGO in real life. Basically, it's the second season GGO arc in the anime and the Gun Gale Online arc in the manga. And it's a tie-in with that. That's how the story keeps going a little bit before these cutscenes here. But it goes through that, and where Kirito says to everyone, including you, the player, that he's gotta go ahead and do investigation on Death Gun and work with his partner on that. And Wolf tells you secretly that he doesn't want anyone finding out that he's actually gonna find Death Gun and hunt him down. And then it turns out later on Sinon finds out, and then the two of them work together to defeat Death Gun. But Sinon doesn't find out that it's Kirito until later on when they're actually changing like outfits and everything for the tournament, because it ties into the Gun Gale story where Kirito is actually using that female looking avatar, but it's really a male. But yeah, it ties in with that whole arc. They defeat Death Gun and everything, blah blah blah. And then while that's happening, the actual game story is where you, the player, Zeliska, Kuriha, and Itsuki go to this game master room or level where they have to find Death Gun. Apparently Death Gun isn't there because it's a whole setup that Itsuki and his squadron partner Taipen had planned from the start. And it is a pretty cool twist, but it's not too interesting because they didn't really give time for all of the characters to develop. Because most of the characters we already knew, and the actual Fate of Bullet characters we don't know too much about, as well as our own character and Kuriha, but mainly Zeliska and Itsuki. Their character development was okay, but they weren't actually given any emotional scenes, except for the protagonist, where in one of the endings, like one of the bad endings, there's a decision where before the actual boss fight of the final boss, you're given the choice to either fight for Kuriha or fight for Zeliska, and whoever you don't pick gets to sacrifice their life to save you from a devastating attack that will attack the protagonist, Major Wolf, and take out his remaining health points. And while this battle's going on, each of the characters are wearing nerve gears, well, only the Fate of Bullet characters that went to find Death Gun, which are Itsuki, the protagonist, Zeliska, and Kuriha. They're wearing nerve gears, and if one of them dies, they'll die in real life, just like the actual Sword Art Online anime plot for the world of Sword Art Online. And it was a pretty cool tie-in, I'm not gonna lie, I just don't like all the tie-ins, obviously. But basically, Itsuki's plan gets corrupted, and then everyone just disappears from the area. But yeah, the true ending is where no one dies, but then reinforcements, which is the all of the actual Sword Art Online characters, not including Itsuki though, not including Itsuki, but the Fate of Bullet cast. You got Zeliska, Kuriha, the protagonist himself, the two Arfices, your protagonist, the protagonist's Arficis, or Major Wolf's Arficis, and Daisy, the Arficis for Zeliska. And then you get the SEO characters like Sinon, Kirito, or well, Bichito. You also get Egil, Klein, Lifa, Zeluka, all of those SEO characters, and you'll see them all in the cutscene. Yeah, it goes on where in this cutscene, where they're planning a heist or like a mission to take out all of their competitors as a squadron, and basically it's squadron versus squadron, and they're working together in this squadron, or at least that's why what me and many others assume about this cutscene, because they have to set up an ambush or like a plan to beat all of these members of this one squadron. And oh my god, Yuki with that fucking Naruto run. Please don't do that again. But yeah, here some of the characters are just grouping up while they're getting pointed at by the gunman, and here they just teleport to a different spot. Kirito gives them the tongue, and then who appear is Major Wolf and Kirito. And this badass pose I actually like, right here. That is kind of badass, even though Kirito just looks like a fuckwad. But if you pay attention to those arrows right there, you'll see that Yuki is in one of the clips where that orifice is standing, but behind the orifice in the second clip, and not in the first clip. It was just a weird piece that was left in the cutscene, unedited. And yeah, that's the story of Fatal Bullet, not including DLC, but the base game itself. I hope you enjoyed that main part of the review. The rest is starting with the screenshots. For these screenshots, they're like pictures I took for the DLC. Basically, apparently there is 5 DLC now, where you include the all that DLC that's been shown, including Dissonance of the Nexus, which is a season pass, but it's also an expansion DLC pack. And at first there was the season pass for Fatal Bullet, but it was taken out, and I noticed that recently, and that's why I have these screenshots here. But they added the complete edition, the complete upgrade, the 3 main DLC, and then the Dissonance of the Nexus. But for some reason they took out the season pass and gave some of the season pass items to Dissonance of the Nexus, and made Dissonance of the Nexus in a season pass, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they did that. There was like literally no need whatsoever. But yeah, while we're watching this clip here, there's also the fact that you'd still like if you had purchased a season pass when the game first launched, or before they changed to the DLC content on the PlayStation Store or Xbox Store or Steam Store, then you would know that the season pass would give you the 3 main DLC and some extra in-game items like some weapons and character outfits. And all of those weapons and character outfits went over to the Dissonance of the Nexus expansion. And I was a little confused by that and a little pissed, because why would they take out the season pass? But at the same time I wasn't pissed, because you still keep your season pass, it just doesn't show in the actual store or in the library. It just shows that you still have all the 3 main DLC because you have them ahead of time, even if they took out the season pass. So at least we have it like that. But I felt it weird that Dissonance of the Nexus was not included in the season pass at all, because they announced 3 main DLC, but I feel like Dissonance of the Nexus was just like a last minute thing, and then they added it on the 18th of January, which I will be buying later on and do a separate review on, because I can't add any more clips to this review, because for some reason I can only add 50, but when I take some clips off in this review, the number of clips won't go down. It will stay at whatever number it's at. And yeah, that's one thing I don't like about SHAREfactory, is that some options are limited and that you can't do specific things. But yeah, that's one thing that I found weird about Dissonance of the Nexus and the Season Pass stuff, is that some of it was taken out and then added into Dissonance of the Nexus, and Dissonance of the Nexus became a DLC expansion and the secondary season pass, which later became the primary season pass since it was released. because they took out the actual season pass, but you still get the content from the actual season pass that was first implemented. In that previous clip, obviously I lost because I was just playing as a lower level character, and yeah, I lost in that previous clip. But yeah, overall, the game isn't too bad. Like I said, the gameplay is really fun and interesting, and the core gameplay itself, you can mix it up in many kinds of ways, like by just shooting enemies, or using your gadgets like your grenades, trip mines, first aid kits. You can also use your skills on your weapon loadouts and everything, like your healing bullets, your guard forms, which is like these like different fields where you place a buff or debuff at an enemy or ally or whatever, and then we'll give them that specific buff or debuff. And then you got your skill attacks, like your sword attacks or your sword skills, which do make a return in the game, but as the photon sword, or like as the regular skill attacks for any weapon in the game, but for photon swords. And you also get to have like different skills where you get to boost like the critical rate, or like you can use like different dodging skills, or like as I mentioned before, the Hawkeye skill, which can defeat the purpose of the satellite scan in the BOB mode, aka the 7-man free-for-all mode, where you get 1 life. And as you can see, I have it, and that at some point in this clip I use it. But it does defeat the purpose of the satellite scan a little bit. But yeah, the core gameplay, it's really fun. I like it a lot. And I give it pretty much a 9 out of 10. Just with some small little flaws here and there. The looting system, however, is not so great. And I give the looting system a very bad grade because, well, the looting system is just bad. It's really bad. You get lots of loot, but when you get a weapon, let's say you get a weapon from like this forest area here, the Forgotten Woods, and it deals like 516 damage. And let's say you go back to the same area and get the same weapon, but this time it deals 417 damage. Basically, a lot less damage than what you have originally. And this reoccurs every time in the game, every time you get a new weapon or item. It does it every time. So every time you get something new in the loot system, it's something that's very weak and you don't really want to use because it's weak. And sometimes this happens with really cool looking weapon designs for some of the weapons, like the like stuff like some of the cooler MGs, LMGs, SMGs, the assault rifles, and all that. Some of them look really cool, but the ones that look really cool deal the less amount of damage as possible. They deal the least amount of damage as possible, and it's really bullshit. Because for some reason they decided to make the boring looking weapons all strong and shit. But yeah, basically you'll get good shit at first, but then the only way to get good shit from then on is to actually do online co-op quests, which you have to do the higher leveled ones with actual strong players, which nowadays you can find because everyone's gotten really high levels in by now. And just last night I was doing the same thing to level up some more and get good weapons, and I did. But that's basically the only way to get good weapons in this game, is by doing online co-op quests that are really high level and have really strong enemies, so that way you'll get hundreds of thousands of EXP and weapons that deal lots of damage, like 500 to 700 damage. Last night when I was doing it with some randoms, I was doing it to beat the final DLC boss, which I'll touch on a little bit later. But I was doing it for that final DLC boss, and I met up with those random players online. I got some weapons, and one of the assault rifles I got was the Lupus 4, and it dealt 1,100 damage. And I was impressed, because that was the first time I ever got to an assault rifle or any other regular weapon that dealt that much damage in the game. Besides the rocket launchers or sniper rifles, because those weapons can deal that much damage already, because they're not regular semi-auto or full-auto weapons, like the Gatling guns, assault rifles, or SMGs. So yeah, it was very weird that they decided to put a good looting system in online co-op versus offline gameplay. And yeah, it was just a little weird. But yeah, the looting system, very bad. Very half-assed. Not enough effort at all. In fact, I think that they could have probably fixed it a little bit throughout some of the updates, but they never did. And by I mean they never did, we're now moving on to the AI. The AI, let's start with the good AI and then the bad AI. The good AI being your teammate, party members, or whatever you want to call them, and then the bad AI being the enemy AI, like the enemy NPCs and characters. Basically, the teammate AI are like party members that can join your party, and they can deal damage to enemies while you're roaming around trying to get loot as well. They have all their skills and debuffs and all that, but for your Arphasis, you set her or him or his skills and weapons and stats and everything. So you basically play as two characters. It's just that you're actually playing as one, but you're setting up the other character that you made, which is your Arphasis. And when your AI goes out to fight with you, you actually have to command them to do specific things, like a rendezvous on you, or act freely, or do support, stand by and cover, or don't attack anyone. Or you can command them to heal, or prioritize healing, which is kind of stupid because they should prioritize healing at any time. But it puts it where you're the leader of them, obviously, and you have to command them to do specific things. But when the AI is attacking and everything, sometimes they don't attack them, they just run around like a dumbass. Like the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes, he just runs around. That's all they do sometimes, or most of the time in fact. They do attack the enemies and all that, but not too much. But when the AI goes down, or one of them goes down, the another friendly teammate or whatever will try to go over to them and revive him, but sometimes they'll just stand there for 10 seconds and then revive them, but then stop reviving them and then move to a different spot or whatever and revive a different character or whatever, or they'll just get shot and killed in the process. And that's exactly what happened to me every damn time I played this game. Whether it be once or twice, it doesn't matter, because every time I get on this game, the AI would never revive me. Ever. Until 10 seconds will go by. And then they'd either get shot and killed, or they would just not revive me at all, and choose to revive a different character, rather than their leader. So really, the AI is bad. The bad AI, the enemy AI, is okay, but it always targets you more than your teammates for some odd reason. And they also spam attacks, but mainly the bosses spam attacks. But the whole thing with the AI is not good. I don't like it. I never did, and I never will. The bad AI, just the enemy AI. Always it targets the player more than the teammates, and it gets really hectic. And the AI for the enemy NPCs is a little bit better than the friendly team AI, but they do spam attacks a lot, and it's just really hectic. Whereas the story for the DLC, the 3 main headline DLC are the whole DLC story. You got the first DLC pack, which tells like one half, then you got the other half, and then the other half. It goes on where there's enemy Arphasis units going around, copying actual players, like their past selves, so like whenever they first started or whatever. And it goes around where you and the whole cast of characters has to go around and put a stop to this and find out what's going on. And as you find out what's going on, you find out that the leader of these enemy Arphasis units that are copying everyone, as you'll see in this cutscene, is a female Arphasis named Lievre, or however the name is pronounced. Lievre. I'll pronounce it like that, but yeah. This is Lievre, and she's the leader of all the enemy Arphasis units. And her plan is to take out the power devices for the non-combat zones in the SBC Glaken, which is the safe zone in the game. And as you do that, you're grinding through dungeons and all that. And this final boss right here, as you see, collapse down. I fucking hated this damn boss, because it would spam its attacks over and over, which you don't see in this clips, because I can't really add all the clips anymore. But you see it spamming the attacks as you're playing the mission, and it spams the same missile attacks 5 times in a row sometimes. It even has like a different gun moves that'll use to spray bullets on you over and over, and it's just so fucking annoying, and I hated it. Meanwhile, Lievre's health would barely go down as well when you would attack her. Her health would barely go down. She'd deal lots of damage with her minigun, and that giant robot or mechanical tank or whatever, which is the behemoth boss fight, or final boss fight in this DLC. It's the one that's spamming attacks, and it took me like more than 10 attempts to defeat, and that's why I had to go into online co-op and do some grinding. And then you saw me obviously take it out, and I finally beat it after so many attempts. And this is exactly why I do not like most of the game's DLC. And in fact, all of it, besides Dissonance and Nexus, which I won't include in this video because I don't have it. But I don't like the DLC battles that much, because they're either annoying and use some of the same annoying mechanics, such as spamming attacks, or always targeting the player. Which there is a skill for provoking the enemy, but it provokes them into targeting you. So like, why even have that skill if they're already targeting you most of the time anyway? And the DLC story is just boring, because after you defeat that final boss, Lievre ends up going on shutdown mode, where Daisy will just turn her off and put her in a repair mode to recover. But I don't know what happens after that, because I haven't finished some of the remaining quests that are after this final boss fight. But yeah, the DLC story overall, bullshit. It was just there for nothing, and I hated it. But yeah, quick shout out to SMG SE, Xanthos, UBCX, 76. There's some players that helped me out with some online questing, so that I can become a higher level in the game and finally complete the last DLC boss, which was so hectic, man. It was so hectic. But yeah, quick shout out to them. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's a 7.5 rating out of 10, or after going through everything in the game and including everything, including DLC and extra modes and features. Hope you guys enjoyed. Any stuff that was left out will be included in this Dissonance and Nexus review. Hope you enjoyed. Wolfdog 107 out.